I've got the wine, I've got the flowers, and I have the disposition to give you the best Wednesday wine ever. Wine with an H. We're going to have our wine and we're going to have a good wine. But let me tell you something. If somebody could whine about life, it could be my guest today, but she's going to be a great example of turning it all around. Even when the odds are all against you, my friend coming up in a few minutes is going to tell you that she said, oh, really? Well, I'm going to prove you wrong. And in the middle of a pandemic and in the middle of all these shutdowns, Sandy Bodeau has been able to make not lemonade out of lemons. My God, she's made some sparkling wine with a hint of lemon. It is fantastic. She has a new YouTube channel. She has so many things going for her. And a little bit over a year ago, things weren't looking up. If you ask the doctors, but if you ask Sandy, things were going to be fine. Let me see where you're joining us from. Happy Hump Day, Patty. Good to see you. Mariah, my day has been crazy, but it's been good, crazy good. I love what I do, it means that I'm in a very small percentage of people. I know that. But when you do things that you love, it's really not work. So there you have it. I enjoy every minute of what I do, and the kids are doing great. Knock on wood. The 7th grader has all A's. The 2nd grader is not in my house. I mean, no los regalé. It's not like I gave him away. You know, he's in a learning pod. Someone else took care of my virtual learning because that's what you have to do. Rena, thank you. I just powdered up y me eché el pelo para atrás. Me puse una diadema, a headband, because the hair wasn't going anywhere today. Pam, the half the tres leches I had was fantastic. Welcome, 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 everybody. And now I want to bring in my guest of honor. I'm going to tell you how I know about Sandy. I know about Sandy because I saw her talking in a Hispanicized panel like this on a computer. I've never seen her in person. I've never met her in person, but I was hooked to her message as soon as she started talking. We connected. I didn't even know what this woman had gone through. All I knew was that she was a motivation, she was inspiring, and she was a badass Latina. That's all I needed to know, a badass woman. And so I'm going to bring her in so you can meet Sandy Bodeau. Hi, Sandy.
Hello. What an introduction. What an introduction. I'm excited.
Óyeme, it's not a Spanish wine, but it's red. So, you know.
Okay. It'll do.
Algo es algo, peor es nada. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I am so excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
And congratulations on the launch of your YouTube channel. What's the name of the YouTube channel?
Sandy la Mamá Maravilla.
Which means
Sandy the Wonder Mom.
The Wonder Mom. Is it all in Spanish?
Yes. It's in Spanish. I create content in social media in both English and Spanish, but we decided to go with Spanish for the YouTube channel because I'm from Spain, so it's kind of like what I do best.
I know, es el que te nace. What is the focus of the channel?
The focus of the channel is, you know, I know it can come across a little arrogant when you're like, oh, wow, La Mamá Maravilla, the Wonder Mom. Like you were saying, just like, who does it think she is? And actually, it has nothing to do with me necessarily being wonderful, but my daughter kind of gave me that nickname because she is the Wonder Girl. So if you have a Wonder Girl, you are a Wonder Mom. And I learned through that process that we can all be Wonder Moms, you know, and that's the message. The message is, let me show you how I became a Wonder Mom and how you can be a Wonder Mom. And I do believe that we all are Wonder Moms.
Tell me about that Wonder Girl and what makes Mara maravillosa, a wonderful girl.
Well, the star is her name, and that's how she got the nickname Wonder Girl. Even pregnant, she was already the Wonder Girl, La Niña Maravilla. Mara was named after my grandma, whose name was Maravillas. So when
that was her name?
That was her name. Yes. So as soon as I knew that she was a girl, I knew that I wanted to name her after my grandma. You know how we are with our abuelas as Latinas? Mm-hmm. So my grandma was amazing, and I wanted to honor her by naming my daughter after her. So talking to a friend of mine, telling him that I wanted to name her Mara for Maravillas, he immediately went like, oh my God, I love it. A Wonder Girl. And little did we know that this girl was going to go on to be a real wonder, because to me, she really is. She really is incredible. And I think that that nickname was given to her for a reason. So just casually. So that's it started during pregnancy, even that we called her a wonder girl, our wonder girl. Um, Obviously, she was also a wonder because I went through a lot before her pregnancy. I had 3 miscarriages, so that was also a wonder that she.
So that's when I caught your story.
Yes,
when you
yes.
were talking about the miscarriages.
Yes.
And first of all, and we've seen it with Chrissy Teigen, and we've seen it with a lot of women who finally talk about this. But even if your doctor tells you that it's more common than it's not, at least in our culture, no one talks about it. And when you open up, you realize that in other cultures, no one knows. And I thought, oh, finally, a Latina woman who's speaking in Spanish about miscarriages.
Yes. And I feel such an obligation to do it. You know, like when I always tell this story. When I first talk about my first miscarriage, excuse me, because unfortunately I had 4. The first time that I had a miscarriage, I announced the pregnancy. So I didn't have a choice. I had to say that I had lost the baby. And what happened was incredible to me, what you just said. So many women reach out like, oh my God, thank you for talking about this. I've had one. I never told anybody. My best friends don't know about it. And I was like, what? I was really saddened to see that, because it is painful enough to go through, to add the shame and the guilt that you already feel, and to like add all that isolation to it. I was like, I'm not cool with this. I'm not cool with this. We have to open this conversation.
Yeah.
Because I when you introduced me, you said something that is kind of the way I live life. Life is going to happen to you. Things are going to happen to you. And then you decide what to do with them. And I don't believe in dwelling. I don't believe in feeling pity for myself. So I was like, okay, this is my journey. This is the reaction that I have received after announcing what's happened to me. I can do something good with it. I can empower other people. I can bring other people out of isolation. I can tell other women, very important, you're not alone. You're not the only one that is going through it. And we have to break that silence.
And then you get pregnant with Mara, and your doctor, a little over a year ago, because Mara just turned 1, gives you what he or she, because I don't remember what your doctor was.
All my doctors were she.
Okay. She tells you that what she thought would be awful news for you.
Yes. I will confess, the way it's presented, you also take it as awful news yourself initially, because the road that is presented to you is so scary. So you're there with your little belly, and everybody, and you're hearing how the chances of having a heart defect, the chances of having digestive problems, the chances of having respiratory problems. So it's terrifying. It is absolutely terrifying when you hear it. So I remember that the first time I heard it, I was really devastated. And in hindsight, I feel that the sadness that I felt was because I was coming from so much. So I was ready to have an eventful pregnancy. I was like, okay, I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna chill through this pregnancy. And I was like, whoa, what? So it was initially really shocking. I spent 4 days that were horrendous, like in the darkest place I've ever been. And one morning, and it was literally 4 days. It was a Monday through Thursday. Friday morning, I woke up and I was like, what do you think you're doing? You're pregnant, girl. Wake up. You can't be like this. You can't be treating this little baby like this. This stops today. Stop the devastation. Stop the sadness. You are taking charge of the situation. This stops today. Never again did I feel sadness based on that diagnosis. Never again. I never looked back again. I never revisited such a dark place. And I was like, okay, so this is the situation. What do we do with it? As you very well said, with the way it's presented to you is all heart defects. Oh, you gotta realize that 40% of people born with Down syndrome have a heart defect. Do you know what I told the doctor?
What?
I said, oh, do you mean that means that 60% don't? Isn't there a better way to present that?
That is more than half.
Exactly.
Hello.
Why are you saying 40? 40 is a scary number. But I have news for you. 60 is better. Why are you presenting it that way? Why are you presenting it that way? And I said it. And that doctor emailed me that night and told me, do you know what? Thank you so much for replying like that, because I am going to be a better doctor next time I get this diagnosis. Thanks to your reply.
I love that. I love that because I remember that when I did my genetic exams for my last child, for Alex, with Amelia, they didn't have certain exams. So they have these other ones. And it came out that I had a mutation that the baby could have a certain kind of muscular dystrophy. And the geneticist was like, now you, very robotic. Now you have to test your husband because if he has it, the baby can have this and it can develop at this age, if that's it. And Sandy, I made the mistake as the reporter that I am of saying, well, what does that mean for the baby? And she goes, that at age 2, everything will develop normally. And at age 2, he'll just stop walking, talking, and eating. Oh, yeah.
That kind of like, it's really like, upsetting is not really the word for me anymore, because now I have found a fire, you know, to be like, I am going to really make everything in my power to inform people about what a Down syndrome diagnosis means and what you can do with it. And I will tell you, a year after my daughter has been born, it doesn't mean anything. Your child hasn't been born yet. How can we possibly say what a person that has not been born is going to be able to accomplish? It's impossible to predict. It is impossible to predict.
I also heard that you educated yourself, and all this Maravilla thing started because you decided that you were going to be Mara's source of therapy.
Yes.
You were going to educate yourself. And I'm like you, education is power, you know, and if anybody else is watching out there and they got this kind of diagnosis, how long did it take you, like Sandy saying, to snap out of it and, you know, take the bull by the horns and say, this is our reality and it's going to be fine? Sandy, tell me what you did.
What I did was, the first thing that doctors tell you is like, oh, you know, you should read about Down syndrome and blah, blah, blah. And as I told you, it only took me 4 days to not be in a negative place. So very quickly, when I started reading the things that doctors was recommending me to read, I didn't like the tone. I didn't like negativity. I didn't like that everything was about limitations and delays. So I was like, okay, this is not for me. Wonderful if somebody else needs this kind of literature, but this is not what I need, and especially pregnant, because I was extremely protective of the process. So I'm like, okay, I need to find something else. So I focused on finding stories of overachievement, people with Down syndrome that had gone on to have college degrees, that were in Hollywood, that were doing like really big things. And that's how I started. Doing that, I ended up learning about neuroplasticity. And that was like, my brain just exploded. I was like, wait, what's that? We can actually shape our brain and we can like completely modify our learning abilities. And I'm a nerd. I always say, like, I'm a super proud nerd. I love learning. So I just became extremely passionate about like, okay, let me learn about this. And I spent my entire pregnancy reading about how to modify basically the brain that you have been given. In doing so, I found an institute that is based in Philadelphia called the Institute for the Achievement of Human Potential. They're incredible. They believe very much in what I said about modifying your brain and your abilities. So that's basically what I've been focused on. Focus on their program. I do a lot of different things, but I'm very, very focused on their program and what they believe you can do. And I mean, Mara is 1 year old, and to this day, she hasn't done anything late.
Anything late?
No,
Everything. Oh my
not
gosh.
one thing. To this day, not one thing.
I
It,
see. But you, my friend, get up at the crack of dawn and
yes,
you have that girl
yes,
going.
yes. I have the good one. I got the good one. I have an Olympic villa going on in my house. I have an Olympic villa going on in my house. I mean, if you saw my living room, you'd be like, girl, did you live here or is this a gym? But it's true. And one of the things that is very important to note is that children with Down syndrome tend to have hypotonia, which is low muscle tone.
Mhm.
Low muscle tone, what it does is that it kind of delays motor skills. So they tend, and I like to say tend. I don't like to say, oh, they're going to, like, as I was told.
Right.
But the kid may tend to roll over later,
Okay.
fall later, walk later. Well, if you address it, it doesn't happen, you know?
Mhm.
And I was doing therapy, and as you said, I am Mara's main therapist. I
Mhm.
am her therapist. I educated myself. I went to the institutes when Mara was 6 weeks old, and they trained me to be her therapist. Oh my God, yeah, that's another story. I was like 6 weeks postpartum with a C-section. I ended up in the ER because I was not ready to be traveling or taking classes or anything. But I did that because I knew that it was the right thing to do for my daughter. And I came back as her main therapist. So we do a pretty uh, extensive program. We work on everything. We work on motor skill, gross motor skills, fine motor skills, cognitive skills, sensory skills, and with that everything.
You've made up toys. Like I've
Yes,
seen you. Oh look,
yes,
this worked, and it's like scotch tape with something, and I'm like,
yes,
what?
yes. Because it is incredible. It is incredible how much you can do. Let me give you an example of something like that. It is incredible the things that you can do. Mara was born with very, very low sensitivity at the bottom of her feet,
Okay.
which if I wouldn't have done anything about it, I would guess it would have delayed her ability to stand on her
Hmm.
feet and later on
Hmm.
to walk. So
Hmm.
back in the day when she was really little, we did this for like 3 months or 4 months at the beginning. We did sensory stimulation with really not burning, but really hot cloths
See.
and ice to
Uh-huh.
stimulate. Oh my God! When that kid is for like 2 months, her little feet would not react to temperature,
Hmm.
and then we did it, and then she started reacting more and more and more. We woke up those nerves that were
Yes.
dormant. You
Yes.
know, so we've done so many things like that to just kind of like make those connections that may at
Hmm.
the end of the day when they're born they are connecting, all those connections are happening. And it is true, I don't want to mislead anybody into like,
Hmm.
it is true that Down syndrome is a
Hmm.
genetic condition that may create some, you know, those connections may not be exactly as you and I got
Hmm.
them,
Right.
but they can be created, you know.
And do you have, because someone's asking if you could write a book, but you have all that stuff on marahthewondergirl.com too.
Yes, yes. We
Hmm.
launched maravilla.com precisely because I noticed two things after I started sharing our journey. One, that many families just froze with the diagnosis. They just froze. And I can't allow them to be frozen because those kids need them. So I
Hmm.
can allow a mom to be like just petrified, because the more time you stay petrified, it is precious time that you are missing the opportunity to help your child. So I was like, I gotta do something. I gotta put this together. I used to get so many questions on Instagram, which is my main social media
Hmm.
platform.
Hmm.
And I was like, I gotta put a source when I can send everybody, because it is impossible to keep up and replying
Hmm.
one on one. So I was
Hmm.
like, let's put together a place where I can go there. You have the information
Hmm.
there, and we are packing it with information to empower families. They can go there and find exercises, the equipment that we have built for her. Um, I mean, I'm very proud of that work, because it has nothing to do with our family. We would have done the same, but we want to make this journey easier for those coming behind me.
Hmm.
And, you know, and for anybody that has not been able to find the strength, the drive, the light.
I have friends with kids with special needs, and some of them are very honest about the looks they get, the stereotypes that people have, the questions people ask. And you, before Mara, you have a son, a beautiful son, who
Mhm.
she also teaches all sorts of things. But you were an influencer. You posted the most beautiful pictures. You were, you were trendy. You were hot. How do that you cannot be the mom of a child with Down syndrome like that? But people have preconceived notions. How do you deal with the stereotypes, the stupid questions, the naive questions, and the looks, that kind of thing?
I always, many moms ask me that same question. How do you do
Hmm.
it? How do you, get upset? I always say that I have an advantage when it comes to that because I am biracial and I was
Hmm.
born in Spain. So I know everything about the
Chacha,
looks.
ya tú estabas lista.
Yo estaba preparada para esto. Yo ya sé lo que es que la gente te mire. I already know the looks. I already know the questions. I've gone through my entire life. So when it comes to that, I am doing with my children the same thing that my mom did very, very wisely, which is they are not our problem. The way they look at the world is not our problem. It is their problem, not on us. If that's what they see, that's their eyes. It's not our eyes. We see life beautiful. We see life as everybody's created equal, and you can't control it. You can't control how other people see you or your family or the world. So, but that's not something we can be concerned. I am all about education, but
Okay, so
if
if it comes from a place of nastiness, no.
no, no time for that. No time for that. And I don't even let it touch me. It's been, I'm going to be 42. It's been 42 years of knowing that it doesn't matter. I don't get to control what people do. So why would I worry about it? It doesn't matter to me. To me, we're super blessed. We have a
Hmm.
beautiful, beautiful family. It didn't become any less beautiful because of her. It became way better because of her. She really is the missing puzzle piece that we needed in our family. And if anybody doesn't see it like that, I don't care because they're not in my life.
Do you consider that you are, how when we were growing up, they would say, just treat her like she's normal, that word normal,
Yeah.
right? Um, do you consider that you are trying to treat Mara the same way you treat your son, or you just meet her needs and act like her needs are as common as her brothers?
No, no.
Hmm.
I'll be completely honest. No, because I don't want to. I always try to balance that out. You know,
Hmm.
I do treat her exactly as her brother, but at the same time, without forgetting that she was born with a genetic condition. So my
Hmm.
eyes are always extra open for things
Hmm.
that may need additional help.
Hmm.
I was much more proactive when it came to stimulation with her because I didn't want her, especially because I really wanted Lennox, my son, to have
Hmm.
a partner and somebody to grow up with. So I didn't want her to not be able to move as quickly or things like that. So she gets to enjoy her childhood as much as possible. So
Right.
it's kind of like a yes and a no. Like I treat her just like him, but I think I'm a little bit more proactive. And I don't wait for anything to be a red
Okay.
flag. I'm more like,
Mhm.
in case there's a red flag, I'm gonna start working right now. You know, but
But there's things you're not going to be able to control. Mara's going to grow. She's going to have to go to school. You can't keep her in a bubble. Are you already thinking about that, or are you step by step, day by day?
step by step, step by step.
Hmm.
When I was early in the process, I used to think about that, and I realized that my energy is better right here. My
Hmm.
energy, I need the energy that I have, which is very like I need a lot to handle everything. So the energy that I have, I want to spend it in what is needed from me
Hmm.
today, and we'll cross bridges as we get to them.
Hmm. Hmm. Um, how has this turned into your job? Mara is now a Gerber baby.
Yes, she is.
I mean,
Yes.
we are going all the way now.
We are. And you know, it really it has happened. It kind of comes from my journey with pregnancy loss and how much I learned that just sharing your journey is
Yeah.
such a powerful thing to
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
and that kind of fell on my lap in a way because,
Mhm.
as I said, I didn't really mean to share that I had lost the baby, but that taught me that whole process.
Mhm.
After which I wrote my first book, really taught the light of the lost, by the way.
I was gonna say,
I
espérate.
had to say, I had to
Say
say,
it.
I had to say the title. But that taught me that there's such power in sharing your journey, So with Mara,
Oh,
I
wow. There's such power in stranger journey.
yes,
Espérate, estoy que apuntarlo.
it is a powerful, powerful thing. And I think that anybody's journey is not there's such power in sharing my journey. We
Mhm.
all have a journey with
Mhm.
things, that somebody else can learn from.
Mhm.
That's why I think it's so powerful. And so that's what I learned through that process. And with Mara, it happened very naturally because I already knew that. Uh, I decided to not do it during my pregnancy.
Mhm.
Uh, I was ready. I was like, I'm gonna empower everybody. I'm gonna say my pregnancy, and I'm gonna be so happy about it, and people are gonna learn that you can do it. And then I have a very good friend, who you probably know, that I had a meeting with. That she was like, "Listen, you have already shared a lot. You have
Mhm.
already put yourself out there a lot during your pregnancy. What you need to do is to protect your peace and protect yourself. You have all the time in the world
Yeah.
to share your journey." And I was like, "Sure."
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I kept it, only our inner circle knew during the pregnancy. And then I shared that actually in the biggest Spanish speaking show in the country. That's when I came out and said that Mara had Down syndrome. And but after that, I just speak about it very naturally. I choose to do it not only naturally, but like in a very positive way. I want people
Mhm.
to understand that you can send a positive message, that you can have a wonderful life, that you can have a very happy. That girl is the happiest baby I've ever met. I mean, that girl is a unicorn. I wish I was as happy as she is. And I want to show that, I want to
Mhm.
show that there's all these scary things are coming from very similar to what I was telling you before, is how you choose to look at it. How you
Mhm.
choose to look at it. We have chosen to look at it and okay, what do you need? What do you need from us? We'll do it. We'll do it, girl. We're
Mhm.
here for you.
I love it. I love it. And what is she doing with Gerber? Tell people, because I think it's so important to make her
Yes.
also, um, well, we want her to live her life and her own life and whatever, but if she can be an example to others and she could represent, because representation is power, and it demystifies and it breaks stereotypes, and it again normalizes situations that people are afraid of.
Well, we were a few months ago at the end of this summer, we were contacted by Gerber. And they kind of just said that they loved the message that we were sharing about our journey with Down syndrome. First of all, they said that they just loved her. They were like, there's this energy about this baby, and that smile is contagious, and we just love her. And on top of that, we love that you are doing this work, advocating for her and advocating for the Down syndrome community in such a positive way. Would you like to work with us? And I was like, what? I mean, I remember reading the email, like telling my husband, we were both crying. We're like, oh my God. Because, I was talking about it a few days ago. I had all these, I really did have the idea that we were going to do big things. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie.
Mhm.
I'm not going to be like, oh my God, this is going to happen. No, I really set a goal to make an impact. And I was like, I'm going to share this journey in hopes to empower as many people as possible and as many families as possible. But I didn't think that my daughter just turned 1 year old.
One.
So I was like, whoa,
One.
really? Like, we get to do all of this in such a short period of time?
Do
Um,
you think it's been your honesty? Do you think it's been what do you think has been the secret?
the positivity.
The
Uh,
positivity.
without a doubt, the fact that you said something that I'm so glad you said it, because I know that people are not going to come and tell me exactly the way you said it, but I know that people may look at us like, oh my God, she had the perfect family and suddenly she doesn't, and I think that having been able to convey that we are still, whichever way you were seeing me before, didn't get any worse because of Mara. It
No.
only got better. It only got better. And I
I'm
think,
getting goosebumps. Se me está poniendo la piel
yeah,
chinita.
but it's true. It only got better. I found such perspective in life after this diagnosis, that I would have never been able to gain without realizing, whoa, we're really naive. We think that, who knows? Nobody can assure that Lennox is not going to bump into some problem, that we're not going to have to overcome obstacles with him. Who says that? Just because he has 46 chromosomes and Mara has
Chromosomes.
7. Nobody knows that, and that's kind of like pregnant. I told my husband was much more afraid than I was. He'll hate me for saying this, but but he was. I think because I informed myself earlier, and information is power. But I remember telling him, baby, we have two choices here. We can either be afraid by a diagnosis, or we can count our blessings that we actually have a very important piece of information about this baby, and now we can prepare ourselves. This is the blessing. How many things you are like, boom, like they're just jump in your face and you have to deal with them. I had months to prepare myself for. I have months to study. And when she came into the world, I was like, okay, girl, let's do this.
Okay, so tell me 3 things that can make us wonder moms.
Whoa. one, the most important thing I think it is forgiving yourself every single night. One. Yes. Because I think that we're always with the guilt. We're always in this guilt trip. I feel guilt about this, about that. No, girl, every night, and this is true, every single night, before I go to bed, I forgive myself for what I could have done better. And get this, congratulate myself for what I did right. Because I can assure you that every single one of us did something wonderful for their kids every day. Every day. The minute you wake up, there is something wonderful that you're going to do for your kid. Even if it is just that hug that you give them right before they go, to school. I don't know how many they are going anywhere.
Yeah.
But, back in the day when they used to go, but you know what I mean? Like, forgive yourself and also congratulate yourself. You're going to have a way better approach to motherhood when you are kind to yourself. The second one is you did not stop being a woman because you became a mother. Allow yourself a little bit of time every day. And I know this is difficult. Take it from me. I work full time. Like, if I count the hours, I probably work, I don't know, 60 hours.
More than full time. Yeah.
Yes, I work all the time. I take care of my kids. I'm my kids therapist. This is not some woman that has all these 5 people working for her telling you to take time for yourself. But I can yeah, because it's easier. You know what I mean? If I can, my kids are being taken care of, no criticism, but it's the reality. So, but when you make an effort to realize that you also deserve a little bit of time for yourself, I can assure you that you are a very mom to your kids. You can't be burnt out all the time. You can't be up to here all the time. It is impossible to function as a mother the way we all want to function as mom if you're always neglecting yourself. That's the word that I wanted to use. You cannot be neglecting yourself constantly. So for me, there has to be every single day, even if it is 20 minutes. Sometimes I just need to talk to my mom, and I need to have a conversation like this with my mom. I tell my husband, listen, your turn. I'm going to call my mom. I'm going to grab a drink, and I'm going to just have my time. So just remember that you deserve your time. And the third one, it would be listen to your children as individuals. Your children, you have all these ideas. I did. before I was a mom, of all the things that I wanted to do or the kind of mom that I wanted to be. And I think, and you need to be the mom that your kid needs. You don't need to be the mom that you dream that you were going to be, or the mom, and I learned that with Lennox. When Lennox, I am a really hard worker. And when Lennox was born, I went back to work when he was 3 weeks old.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh, I'm going to be a superwoman. And I was like working and I was taking care of him, and he would come to meetings with me and blah, blah, blah. And then with Mara, I was like, what am I trying to prove here? Like, what am I trying to do? Like, I don't need, because in my head, I needed to be superwoman. And the way of being superwoman was like, I work full time. And I took pride of being stressed out all the time. And like, I did it. As ridiculous as it sounds, yeah, I was so proud that I was like, whoa, I'm always
no, I laugh because it's true. We compare notes. No. I'm more tired. No. You're more tired.
And I'm busier. And I did much, and it's like, no, girl, no, your kids, there's no medals here, you just need to like meet them where they need you. You don't need to be in this competition with yourself. Just get to know them as individuals. And you're gonna know what they need from you. Don't make this persona that you think you need to be for them.
Sandy, thank you so much for being with us today. And I wanted to tell folks that are in our area. So I have a weak spot for moms like you, because in our area, and I don't know if you know about them, there is an organization called Gigi's Playhouse.
Of course I do.
Okay. So that is the first woman that I ever met that completely changed my life and mind about the possibility of having a child with Down syndrome.
I'm actually very involved in bringing Gigi's to Miami. I'm become very good friends with the person that's going to found it here.
You remind me of her, and I want to just put their website there, because now they're doing stuff from home if you're local, if you're in the Midwest. And I remember her telling me, and I thought about you. I thought about her when I found out about you, that she had 4 kids and Gigi was the 5th one. And she didn't know that Gigi had Down syndrome. And she hated the fact that everyone in the hospital came in and said, oh, I'm sorry. That no one brought her a bow for Gigi. And I was brokenhearted. And because of my job, I was at the Playhouse one day with parents coming in with the baby in the carriage with the eyes this big. And that woman opened her arms, dressed to kill, and said, welcome. We're going to get through this together, with a smile, with the same vibes you were giving.
I'm so glad that you said that. And that's very important. There's nothing to be sorry about. There's nothing to be sorry about. It doesn't, we all take different like paths. And okay, what do we need to do? We need to take a different path, different than the one that I knew. Okay, fine. We'll build it.
Well, I hope you guys get to work together. Thank you. I hope to meet you in person one day, Sandy.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Un abrazo. Que estés bien. Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Bye. So I'm going to have all the information about La Mamá Maravilla, the Wonder Mom, her YouTube, all of that. If you're watching us on YouTube, leave your comments, your questions. Sandy's super active on social media, so check it out. Sandy the Wonder Mom on Instagram. And so you get a glimpse of how beautiful Mara is with her red hair. Have a wonderful Wednesday, people, and enjoy your wine, and let's make it to Friday.